Well, on the big story today, we'll be talking about a true reflection of how things are, and especially as it concerns the youth. In most recent time, we've seen a whole lot of social vices centered on activities or criminality being conducted by the young ones. And many will blame that factor on the inability of these persons to look out to other major and old persons to guide them through the path. And that's why we've constantly had series of problems being associated with the young ones. And with the recent killing of Sylvester in Lagos, many will say it was more of a device of not having the right mentorship, especially with those young men that conducted that murder. And many will agree that mentorship seems to be lacking in a country that has more than 60% of their population being youth. With that large and growing number of youths in the country, is it not time that we as people and parents find every means of guiding them through the right path and giving them the right mentorship they need to have? And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on the big story. And we're talking about mentorship as a tool of guidance of our young youths in Nigeria, and how that can in every way help change the narrative for them to have reasonable, moral, and justified lives, taking the right mentorship. And that's what we're having on the big story today. And to help us really talk about this is no other person but Pst.St.Kelvin Obas. He's the director of the Plain Truth Movement, in every way wanting to push the right mentorship to the young ones. And that's who we're having as our guest today on the big story. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, we're talking about mentorship, but you know, many persons would want to reason mentorship in different ways. But when we talk about mentorship, what do we truly mean?
Mentorship is more like the older generation bringing in the younger generation to take over from them in a proper perspective. Because without mentorship, you won't have someone to take over the baton.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so we need someone who can take the baton and run faster than the previous generation. But in the situation where there is no mentorship, it means that there is no place, no one to pass the baton to.
Continuity.
The continuity will not be there. So frustration will arise, all kinds of things will happen.
And that's what we're having.
And that's what we're having now. And it's so painful because in some cases, in some areas, there are people who have the baton. They want to pass it, but there's no one to pass it. Some of the youth today, they are not ready to take the order of baton that they have seen in the parents. They have their own baton to run with. And you see, taking a baton from an older person, it means that that person will guide you through and tell you, well, as you are running, this is how to run, holding this baton. But where there is no mentorship, there's no one to pass the baton to. You see, even in practical life, you see a man who was once wealthy, that children couldn't take over from him, and then all his assets, everything goes down. That's because mentorship failed. It's either somebody was not ready to mentor somebody, or somebody was ready to mentor someone and there was nobody to mentor, or someone refusing to be mentored.
Okay, now, as much as we define mentorship in that light, then who should now be a mentor?
Well, your father, mother, who is doing well, can mentor you. Your pastor in church can mentor you. Also, someone who is living a good life doesn't need to be a pastor first, doesn't need to be any other whatsoever. They can mentor you. What we mean here is that someone who is doing better can mentor you. There are people whom they are not loud, they are not troublemakers. You can say they are the norms in the society. They are very, you can't trace them to any crime. You can't trace them to any wrong or bad living. Yeah. And they are just there. You see, you look up to somebody who is doing well to mentor you. So either your parents, although many parents have failed now, but a good parent can mentor children. But some of the problems we're having is that some parents are not living well, so their children are even looking for someone else to mentor them. Someone like my parents could not mentor me in certain areas, like in the area of marriage. He had more wives, and they would suffer growing up. So if I go to meet him concerning wives, he could advise me to do the same. So I have to look for someone who is better, who had one wife and is living well and is doing better than my father. But there were other areas I have to go and meet my dad For mentorship.
Okay.
All right. So
now talking about how we used to be, because this is even why we're having this discussion, because in most recent time, when we were growing up, even before our time, we used to have older ones that were readily there.
Yes.
To help, to mentor. Now let's look at how we used to be in the past and how that has truly shaped the leaders and shakers of today. How did mentorship help to bring the right generation that seem to be just stepping away now? So how was it in the past, and why has that not been able to transcend into the present time we are?
Well, that's the big question anyway, because if you look at it thoroughly, in those days when mentorship is there, I mean, it transcends. You can when you need something, you can meet your elder brother, and say, bros, I need this area, help me, advise me, and then you see it was very easy then. But in these days, a lot of factors have come into it, because number one, you find out that you have an elder brother who is not living well, who is living a worse life than even yourself. So you can't even meet that elder brother to advise you.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
For instance, if you have an elder brother who is an Igbo smoker, he smokes India hemp, and you want to go and meet him for advice, and he advises you under the influence of the India hemp.
Whatever he takes.
So it was not there. So because of parental failure, and many elder ones who are not living up to standard, it makes it difficult for some younger ones to meet the elder ones for mentorship. And then for some parents who have failing in the sense that they don't have any form of integrity at home, the only thing they have is the father figure authority. And I'm the head of this house. It is what I want you to do. That's what you should do. If you do it the other way, and they start enforcing things. When you are truly functioning as the head, you don't need to shout. And children, they learn more from what they see, not what you talk. They observe. So in those days, you observe your dad and your mom. They are doing very well. They coordinate you. When they have issues, they have a way of doing it. So as you grow up, you begin to understand that, daddy and mommy, they are actually doing better. But in the aspect when you are growing up and you are not seeing any of that, they are quarreling in the house is even more louder than any of that. People come to settle them every day in the house. You see, it will make you, as a young person, as a youth, it will make you feel bad. And then it will be difficult for you to take advice from those same parents in that area. So that's why it's failing today. Have you noticed that majority of fathers can't even talk to their children anymore? They can't, because what will you tell them? What exactly are you going to tell them that you have not contributed to their life? If it's in the case of a father and a mother doing well, and then a child refused to take a good advice, that's a different thing. But in the case where some of these parents, they are the one leading it, it makes even the economy, the society, a more dangerous place to stay. Take for instance, a young girl walking with a tight. Wear a tight. Something that some of our parents in those days, that's what they wear first, they wear underwear, and before wearing even the main dress. And you see a young girl of today, we wear tight, transparent tight. No pant inside. Who you wonky? You wear that, and then you now wear one small, what we used to call Lagos job in those times. And the belly will still be showing. And then when you try to talk to them, say, "Abeg, leave me." Their parents have not been able to talk to them. They have conquered their parents at home. So even you on the street that is not related to them, you have no link to them. If you talk to them, it's a problem. I remember one day I was driving in one of the streets around, and then I saw a young lady dressed like that. And I stopped and asked her, I said, "You are distributing your bad price. This one you are doing. How would you dress like this? You now hold a bag, wear a cock shoe, and then you're now walking without shame." You know what I got as a shocker? It was the fellow women who were there. They were the one who I said, "Oh God, leave her. And I told her, I said, this is the problem we are saying. this person's parents, she has, the young lady, the parents can't talk to her again. We in the society that this thing is coming back to, we still can't talk. It's wrong. So parental failure contribute to it. In those days, most of our parents, they were living a coordinated life. And there was no much of internet of somebody going to do this, do that, because all this internet or whatever. No distraction of any kind. And then most of our parents too, they also live within their means and all that. So it was a little bit easier. But in this generation where most of them have failed woefully, if I ask you a question, where are the young girls that have been in the club, in those days when you go to club, you see matured people. You see a husband and a wife come to say, okay, well, let's just go and chill out. And let's go clubbing. That was then. But now you see children, 14, secondary school children inside club. What are they doing? Dorime. Dorime will not solve problem of tomorrow. That Dorime song will not pay light bill, will not pay house rent.
Okay, well, in case you're joining us, we're talking about mentorship as a tool of really guiding our young ones and that seem to have in any way gone astray, and how we can really bring them through or bring them back and deal with the issue of mentorship. And I still do have my guest helping us, and he's no other person but St.Kelvin, Obas. He's the director of the Plain Truth Movement. And the truth about it is indeed, how can we really redirect our youth into the right path? But let me still remain with you on the issue of mentorship. Now, as much as we were strayed on why there seems to be a lack of it, let's now come to, in you really wanting to look out for a mentor, what are those things you should look out for in choosing who should be your mentor?
All right. The things that you look out for. Before you can look out for anything, you should also have a purposeful life.
Okay.
You should have a direction.
Okay.
So you look at the person who has achieved those things that you wish to
get. Positive things.
Positive things, not the negatives. So when you look at that person, say, no, this person has... Okay, let me just say this. I went with a friend to a friend's house, a very big friend's house. And then when we got there, as we left the man's house, the young man called me and said, this man should be my mentor. He said, because what I have as a dream, the man is already living it. And nobody gets to a height in life by mistake.
Okay.
They must have lived a life. They must have made some mistakes. They know the road. And then he said, no, I have to connect him with the man. And they are still together today. The man keep telling him, well, if you want to do this kind of business, this is what you do. This is what you do. So in a situation whereby somebody is living a foolish life, and then somebody will not go there and say, I want you to be my mentor. It doesn't work that way. Some persons don't even know what mentorship is all about. Before going out to look for a mentor, your life should be in order. There must be something you want to achieve in life. And then, there's a man I respect so much. The person of Dr. Powers on Operation Rain is the bishop of Shalom Ministry. You see, I looked at this man's life, well coordinated.
It's just like follow through.
I have to follow through. And I began to coordinate my life the way he coordinated. So anytime I want to take any major step, I meet him, sir. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Am I on the right course? Am I on the right path? Say yes. But for this, don't do it this way. Don't do it this way. That is taking counsel before taking action. So you look for somebody who is doing better than you, who has achieved what you are planning to achieve, times 10 of it. Even if he's just ahead of you, you meet him, and that's what it takes to look for mentorship. Not just people on TV, because we have this generation that are persons who will not have a mentor on ground, but they have many mentors in television. And television mentors cannot really help you when it truly matters. We have some person who will be telling you that my mentor is in Philadelphia. They don't even know where Philadelphia is in the map. A mentor is somebody you can run to, somebody you can call, who has your phone number, who can scold you, somebody who can tell you, shut up, this is not the way to go. We live a life today of many youth who their head has not even received one knock. Their head have not received one knock. Somebody should be able to knock your head and tell you, come, boy, sit down. So one of the steps of Say you want a mentor, is somebody who can mend your life in the right path.
Mentorship of men.
Yes, mend your life in the right path. Because the Bible says foolishness abound in the heart of a child. So, but the rod of correction will bring that child alive. So as a young person, the youth of today, there's more foolishness in their hearts, according to what the Bible says. So when you want a mentor, first, one of the good things for you to know who to mentor you is to know the kind of life you want to live.
As a beginning.
As the starting point. Because if you don't know where you are going, everywhere look like it. Anybody can be your mentor. Somebody who want to become an engineer, who want to be a doctor, is having a carpenter as his mentor.
Not possible.
It's not possible. So you need to know who you want to be first.
Okay. So, but will you say the social vices we're experiencing now is lack of mentorship? Because all you've really extracted is a reason and a path.
Yes.
So would you say all the social vices we're experiencing now, cultism, Yahoo, internet fraudster, prostitution, all social vices being conducted by most of these young persons, as a direct result of lack of mentorship?
Yes, in different levels.
Okay.
If you ask me, it's a direct effect of lack of mentorship at different levels. 1, from home.
Okay.
2, bad influence.
Okay.
3, wrong life without purpose. Because you see, before a young girl will say, I want to do prostitution, the home has failed. And because the home failed, she joined some set of people. And that set of people became bad influence. It must be bad influence or whatsoever. They will tell her, nah. You see some girls saying, babe, you dey go work. You dey work. How much be the salary? Just dress like this. But if you dress like this now, you don't finish. All this thing when they work, so one man, if you just give it to you for just, give it to you less than 5 minutes. That's what you go do. That is why you see there are more. Prostitution now is not when you stand in one place. Prostitution now is street, is mobile. So the average young girl have the tendency of, any man when you approach me, I will just tell her my problem. So you have more girls who can lie now because parents have failed, and then they had bad influence who is not whatsoever. A Yahoo boy got into that because nobody can talk to them. In those days, when they sell green leaf for supply, even after selling the green leaf and I make money and I come, my father will ask me, how did you get this money? Even after explanation, my mom will still come and see, how this 10 naira, because 5 naira at that time was very big. This 10 naira, how you take get them? I said, Daddy, I plan to go green leaf for backyard. If we go there and check anyone they caught. Parents will always check. As I'm here, my daughter of how many years will not come to the house with one iPhone, whatever, and then I will not talk. Look, if I carry plank for you,
we'll not be expecting a plank to be carried.
Parental failure, has been one of the major reason why some of these youths are where they are now. No parent to mentor anybody. They cannot ask children. It's even some of the parents that will be telling the girls, they'll not be your mate. Not be your mate. Now they do, now buy car. Not be your mate, now do this. A Yahoo boy will come and buy a car. A young boy of how much will buy a car of how much. And you will not question that child. Rather, I say, my son is doing well. My son is doing well. How he's doing well, I don't know. We serve a God of impossibility.
Anyways, it will not be possible for us to say, but we need to really talk about it, and that's what we're having as a major discourse this morning. And we're talking about the issue of mentorship as a tool to really guide our young persons in making those right decisions and doing it in the right way. And that's the major discourse today. And like I said, I have no other person but St.Kelvin, Obas, helping with the discussion. We'll go on a short break, but before we do that, I want to quickly ask, why are the youth of today really not interested to be guided in making the right decisions?
All right. They are not interested because they don't even know the consequence. They don't know the consequence of living wrongly. Now, some of them, they also believe that if you not get money, you're not supposed to advise me because I get money past you. Money is not everything. Do you understand? Some time ago, I was invited to one of the schools around here, government college precisely, to talk to the senior students. The teachers were complaining that, look, these children, they don't respect us like that. That we need somebody who is doing well. Because they seem to respect you that has substance. You that is living better. And all that. So, because some of them, they are into fraud. And then, they have what you that is elderly don't have. They don't want to listen to you. But later, they will listen. You know why? You can't cheat nature. There are ways to make money. There are ways not to make money. And those of them who are making money wrongly, nature will deal with them and bring them to their knees. And then they will later need those good advice that they bypassed. The Bible says there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end. My prayer is that they should not wait till the end before they make that decision. So that somebody is not, it does not have much money than you, does not mean does not have a good advice that for you. Because my father once said, he said, small pikin if you get new clothes past old man, but you not get rack past the old man.
Okay, well, anyways, while we wait for most of those clothes to get straightened, let's just quickly go on a break and we'll come back with this discussion because we really need to talk to our youth and see how we can truly push them in the right path. Let's go for that break. I'll be back. Well, indeed, it's the big story, and today we're talking about mentorship as a tool of guidance of our young persons in making that right decision. You'll totally agree with me that in most recent times, we seem to be experiencing a whole lot of criminality of our young persons, and that has also been the reason for the high rate of insecurity in the country. But not only that, we've seen also youths not really looking forward to taking the leadership role when it comes to those major things they ought to have done, and all for the need of just looking for wealth. Many will say, indeed, it looks as if our moral standards has changed and the society should be blamed for it. But enough of the blame game. What should we do as a people to redirect their path and make sure they are in the path of growth and guidance, and doing the right thing is what we're having as a major discourse today. But anyway, the lines are fully open, so you can call and be a part of it. The numbers will be with you shortly on the screen in case you're listening to us on the radio arm. The number still do remain 08022931931 or 08188888931. You can send your messages to our social media platform. You can send a message to our Facebook page, and that's Quest 93.1 FM or Quest Television. Or you can also reach us on our Instagram, and which is Quest 931 FM or Quest Television. With those, you definitely be with us. But I still do have our guest here, and he's no other person but Pst.St.Kelvin Obas. He is the director of the Plain Truth Movement, a movement that seems to be guided in directing the youth to take the right path. Let's quickly come back to you before we go to the lines. And we're talking about the youth interested in being guided at first. But let's look at, actually, our youths ready to sweat it out? Okay, we have someone on the line already. Okay, let's just quickly take that call, and I'll come back to ask you that very question. All right. Hello, good morning to you. Oh, that is Diri Wonder. I wonder. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
MC Diri Wonder.
Well, nice having you join us around this time. Well, go ahead, Diri Wonder.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank the resources CBS.
Well, thank you, sir.
So thank you for the enlightenment.
You're welcome, sir.
And also...
Oh, come on. We lost that call. But do you want to just call back because really wondering what you read to say? But let's quickly come to you as much as we hold on with the calls a bit. Okay. Now, like I said, are our youth even ready to sweat it out
Well,
for them to gain? Because it's always like no pain, no gain. But are they guided in that kind of mentality?
I think the mentality we're having in our today life within the youth is get rich quick.
Okay.
By all means.
Okay.
And that is because of this level of unnecessary competition.
Unnecessary, you say?
Very, very unnecessary. My friend is has a lot of money. You don't know how he got the money, but I just want to get my own. All right? So they don't really want to sweat. But the truth is that if you don't sweat now, you will sweat tomorrow. If you don't sweat now, those people who are regretting it today now, if you ask them, they will tell you that they used to. If I came to this town in 1990, those who did not take advice at that time, they are not living well now. They were the in guys. They were the people doing, if I were any boogie around, they are there. Any whatsoever. I remember Kotte Motel, I remember Marshall Sport, I remember Ugly Guest House. I'm using the locality here. These were the people at that time. I was among those people at that time too. We were going from boogie to boogie, we were all kinds of, I was rapping then, I was singing blues. But you know, one thing that helped me is that I called myself to order. You are coming from a polygamous home where everybody is suffering. You are still living this life. You better go and estray your parents and understand that if you follow this path, is that you are going to end wrongly. So I went home and I began to ask my parents some questions, and I understand that, look, if I follow this path, they will not even enjoy me at all. So let me start doing what is necessary. Because I don't understand why a young girl, somebody will buy an iPhone of over 400,000 naira. You bring it home to a warm room and parlor house and you are staying with your parents. It's like that brain has gone on break. Now sawdust, now they walk inside that gear head. Honestly. So I called myself to order. And I told myself, no. If you follow this path, it doesn't work like that. I had friends who were doing all manner of things. I had friends who were all kinds of things, but I told myself no. And I went back home. My parents are there, they can bear me witness. I went back home and I started doing farm work. From farm work, I will go for fishery with my dad. My dad, that's one of his hobby. So when I finished from there, then I started tapping rubber. I was tapping rubber in Uduere, my father's mother's village. I tapped rubber there for some time. When I'm on holidays, my dad would bring us down there, and then I would tap rubber, make some money, then I go back. When we were in Saple, I was selling yogurt. I was hawk yogurt from Saple to Ogara, the express. Then they've not even done those double bridge. We followed that Okoloko bridge. That was what we were doing, trying to get it right in the best way. And as I was doing that, when we now finally came to Ugly in 1990, I entered inside the bush. I cut rubber tree. I will cut rubber tree, I will be selling. Cut like that, I will fetch them from the bush to our compound, shade them. I cut 911 truck, food truck, full with wood. I bought my first share, bought the second one. Then I rented a house at Sajire Street then, number 25 Sajire Street. Those were the process. When I now came back to Ugili, what I began to do was that I asked myself, what can I do? No, that was after I gave my life to Christ. I began to ask myself, what can I do? I started selling envelope for chemists. I started that business with 250 naira, if I'm not mistaken. I just bought a gum and then bought a light paper, something like this and all that. And then I would fold it. I started distributing to the chemists, Osco Pharmacy in those days, and some other places like that.
But why are youths not ready to go through that?
They are not ready because of unnecessary competition. My friend get this, I must get this. My friend don't buy Mercedes. Mercedes is not future. In fact, some of the Mercedes they are even driving now is old model. It's old model. They are, in fact, now what is what people don't throw away when they don't even use for abroad. Now the ship come here. When somebody buy now, and then you can't listen again. You can't take advice again. When you get to the house, you just as long as you can bring money, and then no. If you don't sweat it out now, you know why somebody Yoruba man will say the first money when people get it, they can to the buy chewing gum, they eat. They can buy food, eat. So now, they are not sweating because they are doing what is wrong. Because if you're actually sweating for your money, you will not go and stay in an hotel for 1 year. You will not go and stay in an hotel for 3 months. They will even have some of them now. Some you will have 6 months in one hotel, another 6 months in another hotel, 3 months in another hotel. You will see that saying it with pride. Say, I get like 4 months. 4 months booking for that hotel. I got that 3 months. Now the guest in that hotel is different from the guest in this hotel. The guest in this hotel is different from this hotel. That is no enjoyment too. Actually, if you don't take good advice now, like I always say, good advice is usually free of charge. You will pay for it when you don't take it. You will only pay for it when you don't take it. So they are not ready to sweat it out now because they want
quick means.
Quick means. I tell the drum not like this. Are ready to do anything. And you even hear the young boys say, anything, are ready to do anything. And then because of that anything, now say, what do you do when you take it down? I don't know you do. I go do and I don't be anything.
That's why we're getting ritual killings.
That's why we're having ritual killings. You have all kinds of things. Christmas is here again. And then you will see all kinds of things happening. Look, my career, a lot of things are happening within the young people. Mentorship has lost its hold on the grip of this generation. And we need to return back. And it starts from the home. Parents should be responsible. They should be responsible. They should be responsible. Children, make children reach where they'll take off themselves before they'll begin to take off themselves. In those days, when my father travels, because he's a military driver then, and then he became the senior driver in Julius Berger in those days. And then when my father travels, and my mother will ask us to go and sell orange, onions and all that at Amokwe market in Sapele in those days. I know almost all the villages and all the markets in Amokwe, Agbegore market, just name it. I know all of them. Because I used to go there to help my mom, to assist my mom in a market and all that. But my father hates one thing, which is, the children must not hawk. They must not hawk. Why? He wants that before Peking will begin to do some kind of things, make it reach the age first. At least go to school, learn, study, because you need those things in the future. But we live a life today where a young boy of 14 already have his own house. Why? Because the parent has failed. Some of them, they're good to tell you, I beg, where you don't reach where you say, you just carry your load. I mean, they live your life. You're a man. You're a man. Are you not a man? And so when they start like that, some of them, they don't have the ones doing, the funny part is this, is that the ones sweating now, they are envious of the ones that are not sweating. Not knowing that you are sweating now is going to be, you are learning a process. Because when people break process, they will go and start again. This life is a university on its own. When you break process, even the Bible says that, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. Every valley must be walked through. You know they run through them. You don't run through valley. You only walk through valley. So those who are running through it now, they will come back later and
through the process
and walk through it.
But before we open up the lines, I really want us to really look at the benefits of mentorship.
Let me run through that fast. Number one, when you have a good mentor and people are mentoring you, number one, you live a guided life.
Okay.
You will not spend your tomorrow today. You will spend your today and your tomorrow. People who live a guided life, they are always happy tomorrow. They will do something now, and then later in life, they will say, thank God I did this at that time. All the suffering they suffered yesterday, say, thank God I suffered that suffer. You see a young girl who is in school now, who is doing everything she's keeping herself. People are doing rubbish. She's saying, no, I will not do it. Later in life, she will be among the people celebrating. My wife, God bless me with a very good wife. When we met, I met her a perfect human being, a very good person. Let me use that word.
I understand what you mean.
Yes. So when there was a time when we had our first baby. We were in the hospital, we were just coming out. And then a lady saw her and said, and your husband be that? Say yes. And your pikin be that? Say yes. Say we won't be the in-guest for university in those days, so we never say get husband. So when you have a life when you have people who are guiding you, you put yourself under authority. Your life, one of the benefits, you live a guided life. Number two, you will not live an empty life when you have a mentor. An empty life is when you are behind and you don't know. Because majority of all these boys do know this is now, they are much behind. Majority of all these guys, they are much behind. I've known of some young ladies who were going from hotels to hotel. They have all the names of the hair. They have all the names of the hotel. They've dated all the whatsoever. But later they found out that the only thing they have acquired in life is names of hotel and different hair and Mary Kay that is not making them feeling okay now. So when you have a mentor, you live a guided life. Then next is that you will reduce old age regrets. And when you have when you have when you come under, when you have a mentor that is mentoring you, it reduces old age regrets. Do you understand me now? Yeah. And then you see, the next one there is that, no, before I go to the next one, many young girls, middle-aged girls now and middle-aged young guys now, they are regretting seriously because they spend their time doing what is wrong.
Productive time.
In fact, their strength, they put it in the wrong thing. I told people, I said, speed, motion is not equal to progress. Yeah. If you go to the amusement park, you see a donkey. Go. He's busy there, but he's not covering distance. So some people now, they are just busy. If you tell them, say, where they go, they I beg, I won't live my life the way I like him. May not talk to me anyhow. Look, the truth of the matter is that there are some things now that you think that there's one word young girls always use now. I want you to go give me joy. Something can give you joy now
and still give you pain.
And give you pains tomorrow. Then you become teachable when you have mentors, and then your mistakes will be reduced, and then you become a reference point. Michael Ray, the truth of the matter is this: anyone who does not have a mentor now, you will understand later that mistakes are very expensive to manage at old age. Mistakes, they are very expensive to manage. The reason I'm succeeding in life today now, I can say that word because I'm living a quiet life and I'm enjoying my life. It's because I have people who have been guiding me in life. I'm over 14 years in marriage now. And if you see me and my wife, you think we are boyfriend and girlfriend. Why? It's not that we don't quarrel sometimes. Sometimes they come up for the head at times. So we'll go find out. But before taking any stupid action, I will meet my parents or my mentors. I say, sir, this is what happened in the house. And I'm not, they say, no, don't worry. This is how to do about it. Like the first time my wife ever refused me of having sex, I was very angry. That's the first and the only time. And I went to meet my spiritual father, the person of Bishop Dr. Pius Unofre. And I said, sir, if mommy refuse you of sex, what will happen? The man say, he say, that will not happen. Say, son, that will not happen. Because I down. Say, because even he hit the table and say, even the table and the plate in the house, they will be afraid. Because I will throw them out. Now the man guided me. After I finished talking to me, the wife, which is also my spiritual mother, called my wife, and then that was it.
So mentorship is always guided.
Mentorship is all about guidance. Because person will not know road to Lagos. If you can't go drive for night, accident will happen.
Okay, well, anyways, it will not be any issue if we now open up the lines and have your view. And we really need to bring it down because, we're already in December and a whole lot of things are happening already. You can just look at the papers, the headlines. Most of the things are even scary to say. And, we need to really guide our young persons and, take it easy. Take it easy and let's see how we'll guide you through. But the phones are now fully open, so you can call and also share your view on mentorship as a tool of guidance of our young persons. The numbers are already there on your screen and the calls are already coming. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from, please go ahead.
Yes, Samuel calling from Kaduna.
Oh, Samuel from Kaduna. Go ahead, Samuel.
My brother, you are having a good program.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
The brother has celebrated so much concerning the youth.
Yes.
And the generation to take over the old one.
Yes.
My brother, our old men, are they sincerely to leave the office? That's another question.
Yes.
If you calculate, if the president when we elected him in office, he said the youth are lazy. And when the youth come up, you remember the Lagos rally
Yes.
what happened there. I don't want to rush to be to cancel hospital or the elder wants to come out to tell the youth or to apologize to the youth that they are sorry for their reaction about the youth. Yes, the youth are prepared. When you go to schools today, most of our youth students, they study. They will come out, no job. These people are there preparing to do the job. You look the elderly one, somebody will be in the office. You will come to the office to look job. They carry eyeglass, think your nose, looking at you. You cannot even look for that. Which is, hey, it's overdue. You see the same in that office. Nothing is happening.
Then,
you come back again and look at it. If I tell them to sign the electorate act, he said, I'm coming. He said, I think that thing will not be signed. But I get preparing for the youth to really take over.
It's another question.
Yes, brother. We not ask ourselves the youth of today.
Okay.
When they see that
Samuel, please, I need to really cut you off there because we need to give others the opportunity to also call. Yes, and you remember he also blamed most of it on the parents and the present leadership in not wanting to give the required advice and guidance in actually helping the youth out in getting to the promised land and change the narrative. But anyways, we're not changing the course of the program. We'll go straight to the calls and get more of it. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from? And
calling from Warri.
Oh, from Warri. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to look at this from a governmental issue.
Okay, go ahead.
That when the leadership is hard, it transcends.
Okay.
And so the youth are like a mirror of society. They read the body language of those who are at the head of affairs.
Yes.
So when they see that those at the head of affairs are not showing integrity. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
They are not showing integrity. They are cutting corners.
They want to do likewise.
Those underneath them will not be on the line. You cannot be on the queue waiting for your turn, and then you see that the man who is attending to the queue is attending to other people who are jumping the queue. Soon there will be chaos there, and that is what is happening in our society.
So you feel it's more of a societal problem?
Yes, the leadership problem.
Okay.
Okay, look at now where we are contemplating that we want to have a true expression of the people to elect good leader, and then some people are gathered there of the lobby that direct primary should not go. They know that they are running the government like a business, a private business.
Okay, well, yes, I would need to really cut you also because, time is not a friend. But yes, even if you look at the society, where does the society start from? It starts from the home.
It starts from home.
Okay, but let's see if we take one last call. And really, time is not a friend on the show today. And we just needed to really take an extension, especially when it comes to advising the youth. But let's go for that last call, and we'll definitely wrap it up on the show today. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Ray.
Oh, Uncle Joe, all the way from Ashaka, London. Please go ahead.
Yes, God bless you.
Yeah.
The heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who can understand?
Yeah.
Our youth are ready to bow down, but our leaders are not doing their best.
Okay.
See, let me paraphrase it biblically that Jethro and Laban, one is a mentor. Samuel and Eli, one is a mentor.
Yeah.
Paul and Gamaliel, one is a mentor. And I would like to use myself as an example. Uncle Joe and one radio senator, Andrew Ajayi, he mentored me. I have not seen him one-on-one till date, but I've learned a lot from him.
Okay.
So even Holy Spirit is our mentor as well.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I do.
So,
but Uncle Joe, I really want to apologize and cut you off there with all due sincerity and apology. But time is not a friend, and we really truly have exhausted our time. But all the same, I really appreciate your insight and your take on that. But a big more appreciation should come to you. I'm talking of no other person but St.Kelvin Obas, the Plain Truth Movement, and really helping us to really look at the issue of mentorship and how we should really start from the home, and also for the youth to also put energy, resources, and power before they achieve. But all the same, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Well, anyway, for me, Michael Gray and Michael Gobadi or whatever, same one and same only person. I really want to say it has been a robust week for us today, on Quest Today always. And it's always interesting when we tend to come here and give you beautiful programs, and we'll always do so. Because the next program you listen to next will be Spot Shuffle with Doug and and definitely do have a great weekend. Bye for now.